Raymond Cole had spent 12 long years on death row, not fighting his sentence anymore, but holding on to a single memory that brought him peace: his dog, Honey. His days blurred together in cell B-17, each sunrise an echo of the last, each night a void of silence and shadows. Once a man full of defiance, Raymond had grown weary, his grayed hair and hollow eyes reflecting years of isolation. Accused of a murder he always claimed he didn't commit, his voice had long since faded into silence as lawyers moved on and courts stopped listening. In the cold heart of prison life, Raymond shed every emotion: anger, hope, pain, except his love for Honey. She was more than a pet. She was family, his safe haven during the darkest storms. Found abandoned as a puppy, Honey had grown up beside him through both joyous and sorrowful times. As he waited for the inevitable, he never stopped wondering if she still remembered him, if she waited somewhere. So when the prison warden asked for his final wish, Raymond didn't hesitate. He didn't request a special meal, a spiritual guide, or last words to the world. He simply said, "I want to see my dog." Initially, the request was brushed off, seen as a strange final whim of a dying man. But there was something raw and real in Raymond's tone that unsettled even the most hardened guards. Unbeknownst to them, that wish would unravel a chain of events that no one could have foreseen. Honey had been taken to the county shelter the very day Raymond was arrested. Confused and heartbroken, she had watched him being dragged away in handcuffs. When she tried to follow, a police officer had restrained her and tossed her into a van. From that moment, her world collapsed. At the shelter, she refused to eat or interact. She didn't bark. She didn't move. The caretakers believed she was mourning. Her collar read, "Honey, owned by Raymond Cole." Attempts to contact relatives went unanswered. Volunteers whispered about how no one wanted to adopt a killer's dog. But every evening, Honey would walk to the shelter door and wait, hoping her human would return. Days became weeks. Weeks became years. Until Angela arrived, a new volunteer with a gift for connecting with withdrawn animals. Angela noticed Honey instantly. The silent dog, so still and solemn, pulled at her heart. She began taking Honey on gentle walks. With time, Honey responded. Angela adopted her, thinking it was temporary, but as months passed, a deep bond grew. Still, Angela sensed a sorrow in Honey she couldn't heal. Honey slept near the door. She flinched at sirens. She whimpered in her sleep. One night, Angela curiously read the name on the collar, R. Cole, and looked it up. The internet told a story: a man accused of murder arrested in front of his house, a dog forcibly removed. Angela's throat tightened. Could it be? Then came the phone call. The state prison had tracked Honey through her microchip. Raymond Cole had asked to see her before his execution. Angela hesitated. Could she take Honey to say goodbye? What would it do to her? Or to him? But when she looked into Honey's eyes, full of longing and history, she knew they had to go. Angela drove the long road to the prison. Honey sat quietly, staring out the window. At the prison gates, curious staff greeted them. This wish was unprecedented. Angela gripped the leash tightly as they were led inside. Guards explained the visit would be short and supervised. Raymond was escorted into the courtyard in cuffs, aged and weary. He expected nothing. Then, across the yard, he saw her. Honey. She sniffed the air, lifted her head, and froze. In a flash, she pulled from Angela's grip and bolted toward him. The guards moved instinctively, but the warden raised a hand. Raymond fell to his knees. Honey leapt onto him crying, licking his face, nudging his chest. Raymond broke down, sobbing into her fur. They clung to each other, two broken souls made whole. No one dared interrupt. The guards turned away. Even the warden swallowed back emotion. 10 minutes passed, then 20. Still no one spoke. Angela watched, tears rolling down her face. This was not just loyalty. This was love, pure, defiant, enduring. In that courtyard for a moment, justice, punishment, and time stood still. Then something strange happened. Honey stiffened. She moved in front of Raymond, staring down one of the guards, Mendel. Her body was rigid. She growled, not out of fear. It was protective, primal. The tension in the air shifted. Angela remembered only one other time Honey acted this way, when they unknowingly passed a man later revealed as an animal abuser. Now she did the same before Mendel. Angela called her name. Honey calmed slightly but never broke eye contact. Later that night, the warden, unsettled, asked Angela if Honey had ever behaved like that. She shared the park story. The warden, a man not easily rattled, couldn't shake the image of that growl. He ordered the full case file. Not summaries. Everything, reports, statements, call logs, court transcripts. One name kept appearing. Mendel, the first officer at the crime scene, the only witness who claimed to see Raymond leave the house. His testimony had sealed the verdict, but the warden found inconsistencies. Call logs from neighbors didn't align with Mendel's timeline. A traffic cam, never used in court, showed Raymond miles away when the murder occurred. The evidence was flimsy. No DNA, no fingerprints, just Mendel's word. Shaken, the warden contacted Tomas Guerrero, a young defense attorney dedicated to overturning wrongful convictions. He handed him the files with a single instruction. Review this. Something is wrong. Tomas read through the night. The more he uncovered, the more outraged he became. The case against Raymond Cole was built on sand. And it all unraveled because a dog remembered the truth. Honey, without knowing it, sparked something powerful. Her instinctive growl triggered a silent wave that would shake the foundation of a case long thought closed. Ray had returned to his cell believing that visit would be his last. But outside, something had changed. A quiet force had been set in motion, driven by the loyalty of a dog who never forgot the truth. Tomas Guerrero, moved by what he witnessed, began reviewing Ray's case. He wasn't just disturbed, he felt responsible. Though he'd never handled a death penalty case, he sensed this was more than a mistake. It was injustice. A man had been buried alive by the very system meant to protect him. Tomas formed a team of young lawyers, law students, and a journalist named Valeria Mendoza. Together they examined every detail. What they found was disturbing. The fingerprints didn't match Ray. The murder weapon was never found. The autopsy report had been altered. It was clear. Someone had forced the evidence to fit. Ray, still in prison, knew nothing of what was happening. He lived in silence, waiting to die. But seeing Honey changed something. He remembered what it felt like to love and be loved. Each night, he imagined her scent, her warmth, the sound of her paws. He had no hope for freedom, but he had her memory. Valeria found one of the original jurors who admitted that some jurors had doubts, but felt pressured to convict quickly because of media attention. They wanted it closed, he said. His testimony helped reopen the case. At the hearing, Tomas revealed critical new evidence, missing footage, altered reports, and the suspicious actions of Officer Mendel. Ray's story had become a national symbol of injustice, and the dog who waited 12 years, Honey, captured every heart. Speaking in court for the first time in over a decade, Ray said, "They took my life, but not her memory. Honey waited because she knew I was innocent." Moved by his words, the court suspended his death sentence and launched an investigation into Mendel, who was later charged with perjury. Though Ray wasn't freed that day, hope returned. More evidence surfaced, including a voice tied to Mendel admitting to framing him. Letters, drawings, and support poured in. Guards who once ignored him now saw him differently because of Honey. Ray began writing a journal for Honey, recounting her life from puppyhood to the moment she leapt into his arms again. Their story made headlines, inspiring millions with its message of loyalty and love. A former inmate came forward with proof of planted evidence. The case was reopened, and the court finally overturned Ray's sentence. Outside the courthouse, Honey sprinted into his arms. That embrace spoke louder than any verdict. It was love's triumph over injustice. Ray declined fame. He only wanted peace with Honey in a quiet country home. He wrote a book titled The Dog Who Saved Me, not as a cry for justice, but as a tribute to loyalty that never wavered. Honey's final years were peaceful. When she passed, Ray held her and whispered, "Thank you." He wept not from pain, but from love, because in the end, it wasn't the law that saved him. It was her, free, loved, human,